Hi, my name is Anne Celeste Billings, and I'm the Senior Vice President of Product Development at Q Sciences. And I am here today to talk to you a little bit about three of our exclusive spray products, the oral sprays, and C+, B12, and D3. And we consider these to be boosters to our Q Core product, because there's times when you need a little bit of something extra because of the environment that you live in or your personal biology, but for whatever reason you may need a little extra. So I begin every presentation by making sure that everyone understands that we're not a drug company. We're not here to replace the good advice of medical professionals. We don't treat, diagnose, or cure, but we sure do make your life better. We give you the tools to help improve your own lives. We give you the products to help you improve your own health. So let's begin now by talking about the first and most important concept at Q Sciences. If I were to boil down the most important concept, element, the bottom line really for all of our products, it's all about absorption. If you can't absorb whatever product you're using, it's useless. If it's a topical product and it's not absorbed properly by your skin, what's the point? If you can't digest it properly, use it, your body uses it, it just becomes very expensive waste. So we spend most of our time, energy, effort, capital, and a lot of our science and research is all dedicated to absorption. And that's one of the great things about the oral sprays. Is one of the fastest ways to get something into your system is to let it absorb mucosally and or sublingually. So sublingual means under your tongue, and mucosally is basically just in your mouth. And that's what these three are designed to do, and they do it really well. So let's first begin by talking about the first spray and this is one of our best sellers too, our C+ spray. And this is what it looks like, if you haven't seen it already, here. And I think people generally know and understand what vitamin C can do for the body. But let's go over a couple of the things that make this unique. First of all, by using an oral spray, you don't have to worry about the body digesting it. You spray it under your tongue. And for an adult, you spray it about 8 times under your tongue and let it sit, because that's where it'll absorb, and that's what you get the quickest and best benefit from, because you get that direct absorption into your system. We also have children's directions and instructions on here as well. So you as a parent, consult with your pediatrician, physician, whoever you choose, and we have instructions that are suggestions for the age and weight of your child as well. So vitamin C has great benefits. So let me remind you of a few. One of the things that it's known for is to really help boost a healthy immune system. These kinds of seasonal issues, right now it's spring for us, and we see lots of, especially when the weather changes, you become a little more susceptible to certain viruses and certain illnesses that are just pretty much everywhere. It doesn't matter where you go to the grocery store, whatever your kids bring home from school, you can pick up these kinds of viruses. And the nice thing about the C spray is it's not just vitamin C. This also has zinc. It has, in particular, zinc gluconate, which helps with stops viruses from adhering in your mouth and in your throat. Things that might find a home there are less likely, and it's well understood, less likely in the presence of zinc. When I go on an airplane, this always goes with me. I'm in a sealed, closed environment, and I want to lessen my risk of coming down with whatever, the guy who's coughing in row 27C. I have a lot less to worry about when I have this with me. So let's take a look at, Oh, by the way, you can't forget the antioxidant support of vitamin C. You know, we live in a really polluted environment for the most part, unless you're one of the lucky ones who's living in a pristine area where the water's clean, the air's clean, and you grow your own food. That sounds like heaven, actually. But with these kinds of common pollutants, the things we breathe, sometimes the things that we eat, extra antioxidant protection is always welcome and needed by the body. And vitamin C helps to do that as well. So let's take a look at the specific ingredients. I talked about the vitamin C, and there's internet rumors about vitamin C and citric acid, ascorbic acid as well, that it comes from black mold. Rest assured, our products don't use any sort of vitamin C or any sort of citric acid where the source is black mold. And I'm sure it's perfectly safe, but it's just not something that we have considered. It's just one of our ingredient standards. Zinc, as in zinc gluconate, has the benefits that I mentioned before. But then there's this little star called lysine. Lysine is a great immune support against certain types of viruses, a healthy immune support. And Google it. I can't really go into the details here, but you're less likely to have outbreaks of certain types of virus when you're using lysine, especially if you use it on a regular basis. Something that I recommend you check out. And the nice thing about this is you don't need a mega dose of any of this. These small doses, and you can see here what the dosages are very effective because they don't have to be digested by the body. And when you don't have to digest and you can absorb directly, you have a much more efficient way of introducing vitamins into your system. The last thing that I want to mention about our vitamin C spray is we have included recently, within the last 6 months, we updated and added echinacea, acerola, and elderberry. And those are well-known superfruits with antioxidant protection and immune support protection. This tastes amazing too. You're not going to have to chase your kids around and try to get them to take this because it tastes terrible. It tastes great. It's a natural berry flavor that is also naturally sweetened with xylitol, which is really good for oral health care, and with stevia. So that is our vitamin C spray. Let's move on and talk about the next spray. Our B12 spray. Now, this is kind of known as lightning in a tube here in our little spray. It provides energy. There are some great benefits with B12 aside from just energy. Now, it's not the kind of energy that you expect when you drink something that has caffeine in it. This is a different kind of energy. It is an energy. It helps your body's own energy metabolism. And, there's about 50% of the population that can't absorb B vitamins and can't see the benefit from vitamin B12 in particular, which is, it's really important to the body's physical performance and mental performance because it provides that kind of mitochondrial energy for the body. And if you're one of those people who cannot absorb B vitamins, you're in luck here because we methylate all of our B vitamins at Q Sciences. So it doesn't matter what product it is. In this case, we're talking about our B12 spray. But anytime you see a B vitamin in a Q Sciences product, rest assured that it's been methylated. And it's kind of a fancy way of saying it's pre-digested. It's been, some little amino acids have been added to it so the body can break it down and recognize it as something it needs to and can absorb. So whether you're someone who can absorb B vitamins or you can't, doesn't matter. We have boosted this recently with the addition of folate. And folate for those of us that are in childbearing years, and not just women in childbearing years, but it's particularly important there. Daily addition of folate to your system is critical for the health of any future child that you may decide to have. So, and if you're with child, it's incredibly important as well. So the folate in this product is also methylated, so that regardless of who you are, you're going to be able to absorb it really well. So let's take a look at the ingredient panel. So we focus on, of course, the methylated B12 and the methylated folate, and you'll see that the micrograms here are fairly low. And as I've talked about before, the thing about this is it's absorbed in your mouth. It's absorbed under your tongue. Once again, 8 sprays under your tongue is all you need. That direct absorption is much more efficient than ingestion. And these are meant not to be replacements for healthy vitamins and minerals like Q-Core, but as a booster to that, because some people need more B vitamin. Now, some of the other less understood benefits of B vitamin is it's well known and understood to help with the detoxification process. So for instance, if you're a fan of our daily detox tea, this would be an excellent addition to that because it will broaden the type of detoxification you can expect from the products. It also helps with lipid metabolism. And that's a big word. But if you're also trying to manage your weight, maybe lose fat, maybe tone up, gain more muscle, this is a great one to choose as well. And that is our B12 spray. The flavor is a natural orange flavor. We only use natural flavors. They're primarily terpenes and very recognizable flavors. This is, again, is one of those that it's delicious, and it's really easy to use and has a ton of different benefits. You know, with all the sprays, I think it's important to mention that they're very price sensitive. These, depending on the market that you're in the U.S., they're under $30 retail. So these are moderately priced and a great way to introduce someone to who Q Sciences really is. You know, we focus on absorption. We focus on products you can feel that have a true and lasting effect, and the sprays really do fall into that category. So let's talk about the last spray. And this one has been so important to me, especially right now, our vitamin D3 spray. If you live anywhere, at least in the United States, north of Arizona, if you consider Arizona as kind of this cutoff point in the U.S., and you draw a line across the U.S., anything north of Arizona, you do not get enough sunlight. Even if you hung out all day long outside, your body is not going to be able to make enough D3 for you to be healthy. Without enough D3, there are a lot of negative benefits. And one of them is, and this happens to me, I'm sure it happens to a lot of you, is that feeling of being seasonally defective is a way of saying it. Seasonally, your emotions are not, you're not as up, you're not as happy as you might be otherwise. And this is something that I use every day because I like to make sure I keep my D high in terms of my immune benefit. And it has a very effective immune benefit for literally anyone. I don't care if you're 2 years old or 92 years old. This does a great job of enhancing that immune benefit. It lessens your risk of certain viruses as well. There are well-documented studies that show some of the viruses that are floating around right now, if you have good amount of vitamin D in your system, you are less likely to succumb to those kinds of seasonal viruses that, you know, we all face, especially if you've got kids that are school age. Whatever they're bringing home, you are exposed to. This is one of those extra defenses. It also helps with bone health and strength. And it's not enough just to have D3. D3 is better absorbed in the presence of an additional vitamin called K2. So our D3 also has K2 in it as well. And there are also a couple of other benefits that I think are pretty interesting that we don't really talk about a lot. And some people experience additional clarity and mental focus when they have enough of this in their system. So when you think about healthy bones, healthy structure of your body, a healthy immune system, you just feel happier when you have enough vitamin D. This is a powerhouse, an absolute powerhouse product in terms of vitamin D. Now let's take a look at exactly how much vitamin D is in the product. So we have vitamin D3, we have vitamin E, and we have K2, of course. And you can see that those are low levels. And once again, the reason for this is it's directly absorbed in your mouth. Once again, 8 sprays under your tongue is an adult dosage. There's also children's instructions here. Check with your pediatrician. Make sure it's right for your child. You as a parent get to make that decision. But we know that most people, especially in seasonal climates, at least 6 months of the year, don't get enough vitamin D, from their own body making it when they're exposed to sunlight. Now, there's a great thing, before I move on to some of the common questions that I get about the sprays, there's a great thing about this format, and that is you can build your dosage. You may not need all 8 sprays, and you may need more than 8 sprays. Someone my size may not need as much as a 6'4", 220-pound man, and it really allows you to tailor and customize so that it's just exactly what your body needs. And that's another great thing about this kind of a format. It's also, super portable, easy to take. These always go with me wherever I go. I keep them in my carry-on luggage, and I just would never consider leaving home without these. And just take them right along. They're easy to hand out too, by the way. So let's go over some of the common questions. These are the most common questions. I do tons of trainings and tons of Zooms, and I gather all the questions, and the ones that kind of bubble up to the top are the ones that I try to answer. I'll try to answer here. I'm sure you may have more, and there are different ways to contact me or customer service to get additional questions answered. So the first question is, why do you use organic glycerin? And what they want to know the source of the glycerin too, generally. So we use a non-GMO, vegetable-based organic glycerin, and it helps to keep the vitamins stable in a liquid environment because these are liquid sprays. The next question is, why do you sweeten with xylitol and stevia? One thing that I learned really early on was that the taste of a product here with our clients, our consumers, our customers, our ambassador leaders is incredibly important. And we could deliver these without any flavor or any sweetener, and they would taste terrible. They'd work well, but no one would use them. So xylitol is a great mild sweetener, and it also enhances oral health because you're going to spray these in your mouth and leave them there for a minute or two. And stevia, of course, is another natural sweetener based on basically the stevia leaves. I grow stevia in my backyard, and I put it in my tea, and it sweetens it up. So there's just a little side note idea on stevia. So the next question is sunflower lecithin. I get this one all the time. So sunflower oil, when it is heated to a high heat, can become, I would consider, toxic to the body. We don't use that kind of sunflower. We don't use a superheated sunflower. We use a cold pressed sunflower that is naturally sourced and cold pressed, so it's never heat treated, and it doesn't have those issues. But this kind of a sunflower, basically, it's the lecithin, little fat from sunflower, is a great carrier for a lot of these vitamins. It also helps improve the absorption in your mouth. So you'll see we use sunflower in a couple of other things as well. Next question, what is the purpose of potassium sorbate? Potassium sorbate is an element that keeps the product pure. Anytime you have a liquid that's not just purely an oil, where there's water in it, You have to have a purity agent in that water, or it's going to start growing stuff, and that would be a lot more dangerous. We would never do that. We want these to be shelf stable. We want them to be portable. We don't want you to have to keep them in a refrigerator. And potassium sorbate is a natural salt that does a great job of inhibiting mold, bacteria, virus, coliform, any sort of little bug. We don't want it to happen inside our products, and potassium sorbate is a globally safe preservative agent that is, it's one of the few you can use around the world that does a really great job of that. I answered the citric acid question. Where does citric acid come from? We use the rinds and cast off from juice making, like orange juice, lemon juice, lime juice. So we are not sourcing ours from black mold. Can I overdose? This is a question I get a lot regarding all the products. I can't say that I've seen a case at Q Sciences of any of our products experiencing, even if someone to use a mega dose, which is using up to 8 or 10 times what we recommend on the label, I haven't seen negative effects. Now, everyone's biology is different, so pay attention to your body, listen to your body, and if this is a concern for you, start small. Start with just a couple of sprays and work your way up and find out kind of that sweet spot, what works for you, your body, what works for your own biology. But there really is not a risk, especially since we don't mega dose any vitamin and mineral because we don't need to. We have a really great way for your body to absorb it without having to resort to mega dosing. Let's see, do I need to refrigerate the product? The sprays don't need to be refrigerated, don't worry about it. If you stock up and you're gonna be sitting on sprays for 6 months or a year, then put the extra ones in a cool, dark place. If you wanna stick them in the fridge, that's fine, but it's absolutely not necessary. Can children use this product? So yes, where you see children's instructions on the product information sheets, which are on our qsciences.com website, you'll see that you can use these. In this case, C and D has instructions right on the package for kids. Vitamin B12, I'll leave that to parents' decision because of the energy factor. It depends on how your child reacts to vitamin B12. Everybody's a little bit different. And do we clinically test the products? Yes, we do. The first thing that we do when we feel like we have an effective, safe formula is we do safety studies and safety testing. That's the most important element in terms of delivering a product to you, is that we have a safe and effective product. With that in mind, we have a set of standards. And I don't expect you to stop and read this, but know that we have very stringent and strict quality standards. And this document you'll find in ARC, which is our ambassador support app. And it tells you all the tests that we do, the standards that we have. We never use genetically modified ingredients. We use only standardized vitamins and minerals. We test for all kinds of heavy metals, spray pesticides, herbicides, fungicides, any kind of contaminant, because we want the products to be safe and pure for you. So that's kind of giving you a really good overview, I think, of the sprays. I'm going to follow up with this and do the next 3 sprays in the category. But know this, that our vitamin C spray, our D3, and our B12 are really effective boosters for your Q core, but also they're a great way to introduce someone to who Q Sciences really is. These are healthy and safe and easily absorbed by the body, where you really can feel a great benefit. Hey, and thanks for watching or listening to me, and I appreciate your time.